All right, welcome everybody to the comic panel. I'm Cody.
I'm Tailon.
And I'm Chawienta.
Today we are covering Poison Ivy, Cycle of Life and Death, issues 1 through 6. And this is written by Amy Chu.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe
and a various amounts of
there's a few artists. Clay Mann is the main penciler for most of the issues. His brother Seth Mann is the inker with him.
Man.
Then, we also get Sandu Flora, Chris Richards, Al Baranevo, and Scott Hanna. And then Janice Chang on letters and Ulysses Areola on colors.
That's only for some of them, right?
What, for the letters and colors or
inkers and pencilers?
Oh, the inkers and pencilers. They do different issues.
Mm-hmm. But there are a few other pencilers and inkers involved.
Okay, I guess I was looking off of Wikipedia, so maybe it may not list them all, actually.
That's fair.
I'll try to point them out as we kind of run through the issues themselves, though, that way.
That makes sense.
But yeah, this is Poison Ivy's first solo title.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ever? What?
Yeah. 2016.
She's kind of underutilized.
Yeah. Yeah, you do see in this, she's co-starred in Birds of Prey with Catwoman and Harley Quinn. And she also... Actually, I think I read online that this runs into her... No, there has... Because she's connected to the Green in this, which we'll get into later, what that means. But... So yeah, she must have been a co-star in Swamp Thing also before this, but not a totally just her own series until now.
Was there any afterwards? Because I feel like
I don't know. I feel like there should be, but also maybe not. There might actually be a lot of just her and Harley Quinn together.
There's like when I was trying to find Poison Ivy comics for us to read, I was like, she's really good in this one comic, but she's just a side character. Always like that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, there was a 2022 ongoing written by G. Willow Wilson, and it went 25 issues.
Okay.
Yeah, it was originally intended as a miniseries, but it expanded into an ongoing.
Unlike this comic.
Yeah.
Which was 6 issues and nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we talk about it, we'll get to the end and be like, what's next?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Again, this is information from the Wikipedia page, which, could be wrong in some ways, but I was looking and saw that it did sell pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, also single issue comic book sales numbers are infamously hard to track, and but yeah, according to again this Wikipedia article, basically issue number 2 was the 85th best-selling comic book. I have to assume of that month.
That's funny. It doesn't say that.
Yeah, it is not very clear of what time amount we're working in here. It can't be of all time, but
I was thinking of the year.
Mark.
Could it have been the year?
Yeah,
that would be ridiculous.
Is 85 comics a year a lot? Or I guess
no.
It's 80, 85, 85th doesn't necessarily mean it's the only. There's only 85.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
But I feel like 85 for a month, that seems like a lot.
I don't know. If there's 4 weeks in the month, and that's 40 books a week.
No, That many being published?
I mean, between DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Horse, Boom.
Gotcha. Well, sure.
And that's just some of the top companies. Like you got Archie.
All right, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I'd say there's easily 100 a week. Probably more.
We're drowning in content.
Yeah, you're drowning in content.
Just like your TV channel.
Yeah, I know. I do go now. I've started recently picking up weekly comics again, and so I go to League of Comic Book Geeks to see what's coming out that week, and then I'm like, oh man, there's so many books that I know that our comic shop is just not ordering, which is fine. Like, they're just like kind of smaller things, or like things that wouldn't sell basically.
Scout Comics.
Yeah.
One of those for me at least.
Yeah, but then I'm like, man, there's so much. I'm still scrolling through all of these, because sometimes there's things that are going to be ordered, but they're at the bottom of the list, and so I have to. So yeah, a lot of comics come out per week for sure. Yeah. Also, just to look at this list real quick. Yeah, still unclear actually. It has to be at least within that year. Oh, no, February 2020 or 2016 comic book sales. So it's by month. It is by month.
Gotcha.
There we go. And the number one for that month was Dark Knight 3, The Master Race.
I am not even aware of what that is.
Oh, that's the third, like the Dark Knight by Frank Miller, the famous one.
The third.
Yeah, the third installment in that series.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Sequel series.
And it being Dark Knight Returns year one.
No. So year one is its own thing, but like technically it's where the continuity branch. How did we make this about Batman?
I kept waiting for him to show up in this comic.
Yeah, a little bit.
He did show up. Just not in person.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all. Or do you mean the Wayne Foundation or whatever? Oh, okay.
No. These characters are having a night out in the town. You can see him on the billboards. Or I guess it's not a billboard, it's TV, like a screen.
Okay.
Like think Times Square.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
We don't put like Elon Musk on those things, do we? Like,
wait, yeah. Why
would we put Bruce Wayne on there?
Or was it
Batman?
Batman? So it was the news. Batman was on the news.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they got some good shots of Batman. Okay.
Yeah. That's fair. It didn't look like it was news.
But, I mean,
that makes
glamour
sense.
shots he sent into the news.
That sounds as plausible a reason as any.
He's like, the angle's really great in this one. You guys use it.
Anyway, though, I would think it's important, super. But basically, there's the Dark Knight, the Dark Knight Strikes Back, and the Dark Knight 3, the Master Race.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anyway, Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy. And my point that I was trying to make, which was that this comic sold pretty well.
Oh, yes.
We will debate on whether it should have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a pretty standard opening, right? Like, it's Poison Ivy. She cares about plants. Mm-hmm. She wants to deal with plants. And it seems like she's kind of turned her life around. She's working on a job suited for her at the botanical gardens. Right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I mean, of course, they have the opening where she's over in, like, Africa or somewhere.
Yeah.
Angola.
And she's like, ancient plant, finds ancient plant, immediately takes it back to her lab area in Gotham. I was like, my god, you just took their plant.
Well, considering the fact that it was in the middle of a desert, I feel like she saved it.
She could have taken it to, like, a university there or something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
She's like, mine now.
Yeah.
Well, you don't interrupt Poison Ivy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I do feel like she, her sense of personal morality does, like, kind of have a major, like, ego,
Oh, yeah.
Plant should be near me.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first thought when I saw her walk off this, I guess, Humvee, is that, wow, she's like regularly skin toned. I'm not used to that.
Yeah, she's not just like green skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, she really can just hide in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also, yeah, she is, basically she has a criminal past. She is Poison Ivy at this point, but...
secret identity.
Yeah, secret identity. And she is like, found her way into like normal society. She works a job.
And she's pretty grateful. Like, she has her mentor, Louisa, who, hasn't mentioned anything about her potential criminal past.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's not sure if anybody knows about it.
Yeah.
But she's just here to study plants.
Mm-hmm.
And of course we get some Gotham Academy kids or something.
Yeah.
Who get to have a little introduction to their research. Which, of course, their research is the usual, what if we crossed animals and plants together? Hybrids.
Yeah.
Because that's not been done before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and specifically, I feel like, I don't know, this felt like towards the end of the book, it was like, oh, that's what it was. And it's like, this seemed like too obvious in the beginning for you to later on go, oh, that's what it was. The plants, some of the trees, and the plant that was in the desert are multiple thousands of years old. Mm-hmm. So by using the hybrid technology, there's the idea that you could make a human that is much longer lifespan.
See, my mind didn't go there. My mind was like, okay, yep. All right, moving on.
You were like the Gotham Academy students. You were like, well, what's the, it's all good in theory.
Yeah. Also just going to point out that don't have poisonous berries near kids. That's a bad idea.
Hey now.
They should not be able to touch them.
Yeah, no.
Hey now. Okay, they were there on a field trip.
Right, you put up fences. You
tell the kids, first things first, don't touch this. If it touches your skin, it'll kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally how poisonous some things can be.
Yeah.
But don't forget, there is a sign that says do not touch. The kid didn't read the sign.
Yeah, that's why you tell them.
You can't stop me. I can't read. But yeah, it's very kind of a typical, like, if we cross two things together, we get more powerful third thing kind of research. But, who comes in to bother them? Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which, she's like, I have a PhD, so I can just walk in.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
It's not in plants at all. It's not related.
But she could be the person that tested, growing a plant while you speak bad words to it versus growing a plant while you speak good words to it.
Plant
elementary
psychology.
School project.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do like, kind of the ability to, I don't know, almost like code switch here. Like, she comes in as like a professional, so that she can basically get entrance to the building, but then immediately changes into her, Harley Quinn persona, once they're like out of there.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like...
Yeah, she drags Ivy out of there, right?
Yeah.
To a bar and is immediately in different clothing.
Yeah.
Which means she changed on the way there.
Right. Like, I mean, like, it is actually kind of really interesting when you consider that, like, she has blonde hair and then she has a split dye, red and black. Like,
I didn't even consider that. That's a good point.
But I mean, these aren't criticisms either. I'm just pointing it out. Like, it's really, like, I mean, yeah, logically, it's also like, wait, what happened there? Like, which one's the wig?
It's an interesting characterization.
Yeah.
She's so she, like you're saying, she kind of uses her secret identity just as a costume.
Mhm.
Gets in, gets out of that.
Yeah.
Don't want to be that.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately is like, those guys are hassling the waitress. Let's beat them up.
Mm-hmm.
And Ivy's like, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a major part of the story is like Ivy like connecting back with her like humanity, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, she's really kind of like, even though she's entered society, she doesn't like have a lot of like feeling for other humans.
I mean, and why would she?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, she just has not been like, you know, treated very well. And then also just having like, you know, I'm trying to think of like the right way to say it, but like, yeah, just, probably seeing herself as above other people for a long time too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Condescending.
Yeah, they have, you know, after they beat up those guys, Ivy makes that comment to Harley. She goes, you know, you don't see me wasting my time over like some ex-boyfriend who's crazy. And Harley's like, how dare you? And leaves.
Yeah.
And for the record, he's a psychopath, not psychotic. There's a difference.
I mean, and Ivy's only response is like, humans are so complicated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is why I don't stay around humans. Yeah, she pretty much is devoted to her work, goes home and is devoted to her work. And I didn't make that connection until they pointed out the fact that, you know, she's pretty much trying to create another kind of thing that's similar to her.
Mm-hmm.
She's not human, she's not plant, she's something in between.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very, very true. Yeah, also, gosh, you were mentioning it off mic earlier, Chawienta. The scene where she just like she goes home and then gets naked while reading her research. Weird. That's weird.
I get the feeling that you could have like an in-universe reasoning that like, you know, she's like, I don't need to be around humans. I'm better off by myself. I'm not like them. Immediately doesn't want to keep cosplaying as a human. Takes off all her clothes.
Yeah.
But still, she just takes off all her clothes and sits in bed.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those, like, it'd be cool if they said that or, like, made it more clear that that's what they were going for.
Are you telling me you don't sleep naked?
Every comic book character must sleep naked.
Yeah.
I'm totally kidding. Just FYI.
Yeah, no, I mean,
we know that Bruce Wayne is out there sleeping naked.
I mean, yeah.
We've seen that a lot in comics too.
Yeah, totally. But like, yeah, the way that she like, you know, walks up to her plant experiments and then it like, you know, does the whole like covering up bit, you know, and it's like,
oh yeah,
all right, like. I get it. There's a flower right there.
Oh yeah, the well-placed objects to obscure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Next morning she gets up. Her plants have grown great. You know, she's brought some of her experiments home. She doesn't really trust them staying in the lab. And then, of course, once she actually goes back to lab, she finds her mentor, Louisa, dead.
Yeah. Poisoned by the look of it.
Well, that's what the police come up with.
Yeah.
I find the cover of the next issue, I'm like, I feel like that doesn't really connect with the story.
Oh, no, not at all. No. Yeah.
They're under her thrall. I don't know.
Right, but she doesn't
do that.
It never happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she goes in. Police are there. Victor is there. He's a bureaucratic guy for the garden or botanical garden.
Specifically
who's the old guy
head
again?
administrator. Well, he goes by a couple of names. He goes by Albertus Grimley or Eric Grimley or Albertus Eric Grimley.
Grimley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grimley.
I mean, they introduced Grimley previously as like a dude who thinks women shouldn't be in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or in the sciences, but yeah.
Yeah. So there's Grimley, the old crotchety scientist, too.
Yeah.
And then there's Winston,
Ugh.
Ivy's other coworker, who is like just a misogynist creep.
Yeah.
And then there's Victor, who's bureaucratic and is constantly trying to like smooth things over and get the police just to leave.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you know, everybody's got an alibi. Clearly, she just didn't know what she's doing. Louisa poisoned herself somehow.
Well, that was Darshan, right? That was because we also have Darshan, who
we also have Darshan, who they introduced for like one scene at first. He's just like, I was here where she was fine in the lab last night.
Yeah, and he suggested that she was distracted, which Ivy took to mean, oh, she's not like. No, she's not careless. That wouldn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And this was when she was questioned what she was doing, because she was hitherto not part of this conversation. And
when they ask Ivy where she was, she's immediately like, oh yeah, I was beating up people in a bar with Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
It's like, not a good alibi.
Yeah.
But then good old Winston just comes in.
The coworker is coming in, is like, hey guys, we were at the movies. We love watching the movies together. And of course, Grimly is like, ew, this is why women shouldn't be around.
Yeah.
They're distracting.
Also, yeah, Winston is just like such an awful character. Like, you know, just, or not in terms of his writing, but just like, you know, he represents an awful kind of person.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because like, you know, it's like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, you know, like it's already kind of like ick that, you know, he's like, yeah, we were at the movies, you know, and stuff.
If he had just said that.
You can thank me later.
Yeah, that. And then like, yeah, he could have just said that. And it's like, okay, that was a convenient alibi at least.
Right.
But then like him saying like, you didn't want these guys to know that I'm doing the new girl. And it's like, ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
He really was like, I'll be subtle. Not at all. But the police are like, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Although we do find out later that the police keep getting like these calls that are like, drop it. Just drop it.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They decide to do a community garden outside of their workplace to commemorate their...
Oh, right before that, we should say that Ivy has been successful in... Well, she's like, oh, my plants are pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yep. Yeah, I missed that, but yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Then we get the community garden scene where Ivy and Darshan are working and they get almost attacked by some dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Ivy's able to fend them off using her plant powers without Darshan seeing, and then she goes and basically confronts the abusive owner of the dogs.
Which I will say, like, I feel like she took a leap. She's like,
I was going to say that's a very quick, like, these dogs are loose. And the lady's like, what my dumb dogs do? And she's like, death for you.
Yeah, you know, okay, I did have that thought at first, but then I realized that you're supposed to connect, you know, the narration at the beginning, that the reason that they're acting this aggressive is because they've been treated so poorly throughout their life.
Oh, gotcha.
But
for sure, it's like something about the visuals of the dogs too. You can clearly tell that they're like being mistreated.
Yeah, but it does, like, there's just enough page separation between those scenes that I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess you did kind of establish that, but whoa, that's a big splotch of blood and a little curly tree root coming out of the mouth, gurgle, like, ooh. Pretty violent.
Yeah. Ivy has proved that she is no qualms killing people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean,
I guess everybody's kind of got to be the opposite of Batman, right? Batman's like, I can't kill you. I will beat you up, though. And then Ivy's like, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get a scene the next day where, turns out, Victor Lee and Albertus Grimley know who Miss Pamela Isley is as, Poison Ivy.
Mm.
And so whatever complaint...
Yeah, they pretty much threaten her, right? Like, she comes in, she's like, we know Louisa wasn't poisoning herself, didn't accidentally mess up. And they're like, now Poison Ivy, you need to calm down. We know who you are.
And it wasn't just about the fact that Louisa didn't poison herself, but also their research was stolen.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Victor was like, nope, nothing was stolen to the police. And clearly, the stuff was stolen.
Yeah. Then Darshan and Pamela have this heart-to-heart where Darshan is like, yeah, I lied to the police. I didn't make it to the lab. See, I never wanted to work here. I just was doing it because I felt the pressure. But
I want to be on America's Got Talent, and that's where I was.
Gotham's Got Talent.
Ahem.
He had his chance. He wanted to be the star.
Mm-hmm.
And
he sucked so badly, this audience was booing him.
Was that what it was?
They're throwing tomatoes at him.
Oh, I couldn't tell.
Wow.
Yep.
I don't think we're allowed to do that on TV. I guess this is Gotham. That must be pretty tame for them.
Yeah. But yeah, then he explains that he's a ultra pacifist. I'm gonna butcher ahimsa. There we go. We got it.
Yeah.
Basically, doesn't hurt any living creature.
I mean, it's just like a standard tenet of Buddhism.
Oh, gotcha. I
don't know. Fair. At least in my opinion, it's probably like a different thing.
Yeah.
Now my qualm is that he explains all that, and Pamela's like, "Oh my gosh, she's so dreamy."
No, what?
That's what they're setting up.
Just says,
no, they aren't.
I mean,
that is what they're setting up. Like,
never have a panel of her like wistfully looking at him, going like, "Wow, that's so heroic." She's like, "Can you eat potatoes?" And he's like, "No," or "I can, but I feel guilty about it."
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, because he won't eat a potato; it's a plant. Okay,
they're still not setting up a relationship between them.
They absolutely are.
No, they aren't.
They absolutely are. She is very much...
Tailon, I think you're giving them too much credit. I do think they're trying to set something up. They're just not doing it in any discernible way. They're like, look, they have so much in common.
I can read between the lines.
Guy in her life who isn't a total creep or, rude to her.
There's more relationship chemistry between Harley and Ivy in this than...
What? Harley's in even in it.
I don't think it's from lack of trying, but you're right. I think they're trying.
I don't think they're trying. I
think they are. Why else would they be like, have him first be like, I'm a pacifist. I don't even eat plants unless it falls off the tree.
Exactly.
Harley never has a moment of like, wow, that's amazing. She's like, okay. Fascinating. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Harley is built up that much, but there was like the scene where like she falls asleep and then she like thinks that her phone buzzes and is like, Harley? And then like there's no notifications.
Yeah, Ivy being like, I wish Harley would text me.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't say that, but she clearly is checking for texts from Harley.
Yeah.
See, that's just
he doesn't care once if Darshan shows up or not.
See, that's what I mean. Darshan is her first friend that is like still male, I feel like.
I don't know, man. They keep having scenes where they touch hands and they're like, oh, awkward.
Yes, they do. Tailon, but it's so badly executed.
I guess that's true. Anyway, though, the Pam Poison Ivy gets a alert on her phone that there was like a security breach at her house, so she has to run off, and then Darshan is like, oh, I was going to mention something to my boss, or actually he heard a noise, that's what it was.
He heard him, Grimly.
So he goes into Grimly's office and sees him lying there dead.
The old wheelchair-bound guy.
Yeah.
It's just a husk on the floor, like he's dried up.
Yeah. And at Poison Ivy's apartment, she delivers her plant babies.
Yep.
Yeah, the alarm went off, and because it was time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're fruit.
They fall from sporlings, and they look like kind of green babies. Let's be real.
Yeah, that was unnerving.
I don't know. It was fine. Yeah, one's green, one's like a dark brown green.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
No?
Nope.
Tailon said, ew, childbirth. They're weird and gross. I don't love them.
Yeah. So, yeah, we get the police back at the botanical gardens again. And Darshan recounts the story, basically. They're also like, yeah, he's just like a pile of skin, like, not even skin and bones, just skin.
Yeah. But then we get Pamela going on and on about her children and how they are already displaying plant-based abilities.
Yeah, and they're aging fast. Mm-hmm. They're like sitting up and they just got born.
Yeah.
She says that she has the power of life and death now. Because, title.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, well, they'll wrap that in later, too, again.
So she has the one that's named Rose, and then the one named Hazel.
Mm-hmm.
And when she takes the chance to go back to the lab, and then, of course, find out that Grimley's dead.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, I need to get into the lab, past the police, and the police are like, nope, you're here for, you're gonna be questions, even more. And then, of course, they get a call then that they need to drop it. Right before she's almost deciding to, like, beat them up.
Yeah.
And probably kill them.
Again, say unhinged?
I mean, every time I saw that, I was like, man, she's going a little extreme. And then I'd remember, oh yeah, she's supposed to be a villain normally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, before I forget, because I didn't look on chapter 2, this one has still pencils by Clay Mann, but also with help from Steven Segova. And then the inks have Seth Mann, Jonathan Glapion. Glapion. There we go.
And this is chapter 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dexter Vines, and Art Thibert.
Yeah, I think there is definitely a different, like, inker midway through this issue.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, definitely. I noticed when researching it, it came out on time, which is like kind of the expectation, but not always. So, yeah, I could totally see it being like, if they were really concerned about it coming out on time, being like, yeah, just take these pages, you do them.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, she almost kills the police people. Well, I don't know. She definitely did actually activate her plant powers. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she was pretty close.
She's, trying not to give in to the thoughts of strangle them, poison their flesh, bury their bodies as fertilizer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then she goes, oh yeah, killing them will cause me more grief later.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm turning over a new leaf, she says, literally.
Gotta squirrel in those plant puns.
But yeah, so she goes home because she can't get any further at the lab.
She wants to get into the lab. She knows that the research that's been stolen is somewhere. She's convinced it's somewhere still in the building. But she needs to get past the police to get into the lab to look for it.
Mm.
Yeah.
She goes home. And of course, who has to visit her but Winston?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, before that, though, also her home was attacked by...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, her home was attacked. Her little sporling baby creatures are still safe, just barely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She'd set up a whole, like, plant security system, basically, that got, like, wrecked, but it did fend off whatever came in looking for the sporlings.
Mm-hmm. The Venus flytrap is the weapon of choice.
Well, I mean, that's the next weapon of choice.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
you're
like
right. Yeah.
other ones previously.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Those are, of course, the most recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Winston comes to her apartment.
Yep.
To come bother her,
Yeah.
literally.
And
He's like, it's crazy what with all these murders. I
Mhm.
figured you might want someone around to protect you.
Ugh.
And she's like, just come in. He's
Mhm.
like, ha, did it. Got it.
Yep. And he's singing as he's doing this, as he's taking the elevator.
Yeah.
And it's the same song that Darshan was singing earlier, or it's the same one that Darshan will sing later. I can't remember.
Really?
I
didn't
think it was
even
earlier.
notice.
But I was like, huh, okay. So we all men just know that song?
Yeah. I mean, in other words,
Gotham has one hit song.
yeah, it's the hit of the month.
Oh, I see.
Everybody's got it stuck in their head. I have no idea.
Yeah, Winston comes in and like is bothering her because he's literally like, I'm your alibi. All you got is me.
Yeah.
Now you gotta pay up.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I guess I do.
You know, when he said, like, you'll thank me later, you know, I don't think that implies that you come to collect.
Yeah.
I mean,
it definitely
he's
shouldn't.
persistent. That's how he gets things, right?
Yeah.
He's persistent. And annoying.
Yeah.
And the worst.
And then Poison Ivy kills him. Kills him dead.
She gives him a kiss of death.
Uh-huh.
Well, but not a literal. Well, it doesn't seem like it's a literal. It looked like she just ran her hand across his face.
I think it's supposed to be that they did kiss.
Yeah, I think
Isn't
so
that like
too.
her signature thing?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's in this panel that does not actually show his lips at the bottom.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's the green around his lips that signifies it. And,
That's
you
right.
know, hope you enjoyed your last kiss, Winston. I definitely didn't think it happened when I first read it. It was not clear to me. But then
Until they said it verbally.
yeah.
Yeah. But then she allowed the Venus flytrap to eat him.
All of the Venus flytraps.
Yeah.
To jump on him like they're little monsters.
Yeah. I actually didn't notice that at first. I thought that, like, you know, she just, like, you know, put the body towards the Venus flytraps. I'm like, oh, yeah, they did jump up. That's actually kind of fun.
Of course, who has to, like, ring her doorbell at the same time? Darshan.
Yeah.
As she says, it never rains, it pours. How do these people know where I live? And for real.
Yeah, this is a real question, actually, that she should figure out. Did you follow me?
All my coworkers know where I live.
Yeah.
It's stuck.
Yeah,
but he came by because he knew somebody in Gotham permits, right? So he was able to get the building plans for the lab, so they can try to figure out a place to go in secretly.
Maybe that friend in permits also gave him her address.
Yeah.
Couldn't have even called, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, basically they, you know, are looking through the plans and realize that there's like an old abandoned area that, you know, is not actually abandoned.
There's an unused wing that has a lot of security for something that's unused.
Uh-huh. Gotcha.
And of course, Poison Ivy's like, I know who to call to help me break into a place.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will say, I was actually shocked at who it was. I was not expecting that.
Who were you expecting?
I had no expectations.
No expectations. Fair enough.
It'd be crazy if it was Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I think I was probably not expecting somebody recognizable. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she left her glasses. And so Darshan, being the good dude that he is, picks them up and tries to race home, and gets caught up in some vines, and not the internet kind.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Anyway,
honestly,
Catwoman has swung by to visit Poison Ivy. And then, of course, Darshan. This is like the worst secured place on Earth.
Yeah.
Darshan has walked right in and, like you said, got attacked by some of Poison Ivy's security plants.
Yeah. Which, man, lucky him that it wasn't the Venus flytraps.
Yeah.
Actually. Like, apparently the plants also are able to, like, detect level of threat, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, because, like, you mean even before the Venus flytraps, like, you know, we know that it fended off against, like, a big, strong, like, monster thing, you know? So it's like, you could have really mollywopped Darshan,
Yeah.
like.
But now, of course, that means that he's part of this plan too, between Catwoman, Poison Ivy, to break into the place. They use, of course, steam tunnels.
Yeah.
And Catwoman is very useful in, you know, getting through locked doors.
Yeah.
They find
systems.
a lot of people who've, like, been turned to wood. And Poison Ivy can hear someone through the green, right?
Yeah.
Through her, like, plant powers, her part with the plant world.
Yeah.
She can hear somebody talking about needing help.
Right. Which, yeah, if you listened to our episode on Swamp Thing recently, Green Hell, Swamp Thing Green Hell, that one had a lot of information about the green and how it worked. So,
yes.
Yeah. But to quickly summarize, it is the all-encompassing consciousness of the plant world on Earth, basically. Magical. The magic of plants.
Gotcha.
Catwoman
Now,
literally compares it to the Force.
Yeah.
Now, as someone who admittedly doesn't know much about Star Wars, I feel insulted.
Why?
I don't know. Comparing it to the Force is just like,
How
no.
dare you?
Yeah, how dare you?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Force is kind of vague. The life force.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that too, actually. Like, you know, it's... I'm not insulted by it, but I do feel like there's, like, a better comparison maybe out there. But, yeah, it works. It works. It's,
But
you know.
they do stumble into a facility that looks like an exact mirror of their lab that's being secretly used. That's where Poison Ivy finds her missing notebooks and files and stuff about the research. And they're like, I wonder why they're using this stuff. Like, why do they have it in a totally the same lab, just mirrored?
And then they find a secret room where Catwoman, you know, hot wires the door to open. And they find a bunch of scientists all turned into various wood ensembles.
Yeah, and dead.
Transmuted different
Yes.
limbs into, branches and such.
And in the freezer that's apparently there, Victor is found nearly dead. But
They always have a freezer for, like, samples and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I
And
guess,
somebody shot Victor in there.
Yeah. And then they find a young plant girl in the vents.
Another
And she's the
sporling.
one who is, like, wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've been experimenting on her. They were trying to recreate the same thing as Poison Ivy, a hybrid between a human and a plant that's very humanoid.
Right.
Yeah. And they had a lot of failed versions that were just little plant fetuses in jars.
Yeah. They took after Lex Luthor. I'll give them that.
It really upsets Poison Ivy. So she goes crazy and starts, you know, wrecking everything.
Yep.
And, you know, killing Victor.
Mm-hmm.
And Darshan is told by Catwoman to talk her down.
Which is so odd
Yeah.
because you're like, aren't you friends?
Yeah.
You've known her for longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, you see where I'm saying though? They're supposed to have a connection.
Yeah, I guess.
They really couldn't have both talked her down, huh?
Yeah.
Only one person can do this job.
Yeah, I guess the way that I read that at the time was this, like, she won't listen to me because, like, you know, we're too close, you know?
I get the feeling that they could use the thing of, like, Catwoman's not the type of person to do that.
Right. Yeah,
that's fair.
You need someone else to do it.
Yeah.
But it's still dumb.
Yeah, and now that you're saying it too, I'm like, yeah, this is supposed to be like a thing.
Would you rather your coworker talk to you and made you calm down, or your friend?
Who was your roommate?
Yeah.
Like,
very silly.
But yeah.
And now, so they've rescued this girl. Her name is Thorn.
Yeah. They give
so
her
they
the
have Rose, Hazel, and Thorn.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the cover of the next issue completely, spoils the fact that, after they got out of the building as it was being, destroyed, the children have grown up. The little sporelings are now young girls, young women.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely like teenage.
That's what the story tells us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, in terms of their bodily maturity, I guess. Also, though, like a lot more time has passed than I felt like it should have, because like, all of the pictures, there's like a bunch of Polaroid pictures that are on the fridge via magnets, and it's like the most recent picture of them that has them at the age that they are in this is 25 weeks. That's half a year. It's been 6 months.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they say 6 months in this. They're like, you're only 6 months old.
Yeah, I guess that's right. They say that later on, too. Yeah, it does not feel like it's been 6 months. What's been going on in between?
I kind of felt those 6 months just because they established, like, yeah, it's been really weird at the lab. Like, we can't say anything. And Pamela seems very much removed from it.
Did she go back to the lab is my question? Has she just been chilling out here?
I think she's just been chilling out there.
Huh.
She quit her job, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's very weird. But okay, we'll talk about the important part first. Is of course the girls are like, we must spread our wings, and so they sneak out in the night.
Yeah.
After Darshan brings them a karaoke machine, they're kind of like, I want to see more of the world.
Yeah.
Karaoke.
We want more karaoke.
Why didn't they just go to a karaoke bar?
Well,
that's what do they know what a karaoke bar is?
They go to a club.
Yeah.
In their opinion.
Which I'm sure, they were looking probably for like more of a dance club. Like, but yeah, they go to a strip club.
Oh.
They just basically subdue the bouncer, get in, and dance on the stage as you do.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't catch the fact that it was a strip club. I just thought it was a dance club, but no. I am sorely mistaken.
Yeah. You didn't catch Bang Bang Alley XXX?
No. But yeah, some dude of the caliber of Winston tries to hit on Thorn, and he touches
her
in a place
immediately.
Yeah.
His hand gets transmuted into wood. Causes a whole uproar. The police get involved, the same investigators who were investigating the 2 other incidents at the lab. Oh, and then this was also kind of like told me how much time had passed, because they were like, hey, you remember that thing that happened?
I guess so, yeah. In my head, I was just like, they're just doing so much work.
They go there, and the investigators go to the club, and they get stopped by Poison Ivy, who's like, you're lucky I showed up. Girls, you're coming home with me.
Yeah.
You're not going to kill anybody.
And so when they get home, they're all excited, like, yeah, we went out on our first time, like, let's go. And
we protected ourselves and really stood up to the bad guys.
And then Pamela is just like, nope, it's too dangerous for you.
I'm putting you in plant jail.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're grounded. And as they said, we've been grounded our entire lives.
All 6 months.
Yeah.
Now, wait, maybe that's later. Never mind. So she goes to talk to the green. She's like,
she's got to clear her head. She's not sure how to raise these kids. The world's so scary, and she can only protect them from so much.
Right.
So she's talking to the green, like you said, and then that's when she gets attacked.
By I always imagine his voice is like, Isley. But yeah, the giant dude, the plant dude that attacked the apartment a couple issues before, turns out to be...
he attacked when they were baby sporlings,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And we Poison Ivy never saw him then, but
Right.
we as the audience saw him.
Right. Turns out that guy is Dr. Grimley.
Mm-hmm.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah.
What's he doing for 6 months?
Right.
That's my main question.
Yeah.
It's like,
also this last issue, issue 6, has the most different art team of Al Baryon Nevo and Cliff Richards on pencils, Sanduflora and Scott Hanna. Oh, sorry, Sanduflora, Scott Hanna, and Cliff Richards on inks.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, that's actually it. You know, the colors and the letters are the same. The cover was by Clay Mann, with Ulysses Areola.
Mm-hmm. So, but I want to begin with this issue with an issue I have that I've noted is that there are inconsistencies between what has been told to the audience. And this is the biggest one because they're like, so this issue starts off recounting the life of the Sporlings and they talk about how they had nightmares. But in the previous issue, it wasn't them who had nightmares. It was Pamela who had nightmares.
Well, yeah, I think that it's everybody that's connected to the green has been having nightmares, probably, of this thing.
They didn't say that.
They don't communicate that.
Yeah, they don't.
There's so much that, a lot of the recapping is like, now there's this thing that happens. Take our word for it.
Yeah.
We never saw, like, a scene of the Sporlings growing up, really. We get to see it here.
Yeah.
Where they, like, already know their powers, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, it did feel inconsistent that it's like, all 3 of the Sporlings are supposed to be like the same age, roughly. And yet...
Even though I don't think they were born at the same time.
Yeah, they weren't born at the same time. And Thorn, like, we see her as like a young girl, but it felt like that we had just left the apartment of...
They all look the same once they're grown up.
Yeah,
like, they just have different... They've just been reskinned, like different colors, different hair, a little bit.
Yeah.
They're pretty standard. Like, Rose is sweet and nice and a little bit naive, and Thorn is all, grumbly and brooding.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what Hazel is. Hazel is...
fun-loving.
Neutral. Yeah.
I mean,
probably.
and also kind of get the impression that she'd be the leader of the group a little bit, the quote unquote smart one.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
The friendly one.
Well, no, Rose is the friendly one.
Yeah.
Isn't Rose more shy?
No, I'm pretty sure.
I
Rose,
can get
Rose is the one that talks to plants. Hazel is the one that can control plants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they can all kind of do each other's powers, but that's the first things that started to show, hence implying their future personalities, because personalities are physical characteristics.
Yeah. They're locked up in plant jail while Poison Ivy's getting attacked by Grimley.
Mm-hmm.
And of course we find out, this whole thing, the reason we wanted to do this is like you kind of alluded to, Cody, immortality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As always.
Yeah. Grimley.
And I'm like, I almost find Victor more, I don't know what the word is. It's not relatable. It's,
sympathetic?
Like he's almost more sympathetic, where he's like, no, we have to save Grimley's life.
Victor. Yeah. This is a scientific genius here.
Yeah, I guess, other than being like mentor-mentee, I didn't really understand their relationship, like why he cared so much, but yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's just kind of nice.
Yeah.
He's like, "Are you sure you want to do this, sir?" Experimental plant trials.
Yeah.
You can think of him like Alfred.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, they're like, he's got a syringe to a plant, you know, and it's like, but it looks like he's injecting the plant. So it's like, it was,
Oh, yeah.
like at first I had to like go back and like look, because I'm like, oh, you're actually pulling something from the plant to inject into, well, not yourself, but into Grimly.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either.
Yeah.
They just did the standard pose, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So of course, Grimly, this stuff worked, but it turned him into something else. You know, it regrew his muscles and all that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the
This
reason
monster.
Louisa had to die, the mentor of Ivy at the botanical garden, is because she realized the discrepancies in the budget.
Yeah.
Which, as a scientist, how are you involved in that?
She's a great supervisor.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of understand it if, like, you know, she's trying to make some purchases based on, like, a budget for a grant, you know? And it's like, okay, well, I want to afford this thing. Or, like, she also says there's, like, some certain, like, line items here that are really expensive, but we aren't outfitted with those in our lab.
We don't have that equipment.
Yeah, so if you wanted to use that equipment, it's like, where is it then? Like, did we
Gotcha.
order
Well,
this?
it's just funny that nobody else, like, there's no accountant somewhere being like, "You're right, Louisa."
Yeah. Yeah, and at that point, Grimly had not undergone his transformation yet, so he just, like, I think the implication, well, again, is not super explicitly shown, is that he put some of those yew berries that she was studying in her coffee.
That darn coffee cup she's always carrying.
Yeah.
In every scene until she dies.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, they say yew berries very toxic.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It also probably tastes horrible.
Yeah, probably.
One taste is all you need.
Yeah. Also,
But Grimly's here because Ivy destroyed the lab. He needs stuff from the sporelings to inject in himself again, because since he put in that regenerative stuff, it's also regenerated his cancer.
Yeah. And I don't know if we said that before, but the reason Victor was like, this is a scientific genius here, like, you know, because he was dying because of cancer.
yeah.
And so that's why he wanted immortality.
Right. Yep. But
And then,
trees get cancer too.
really?
Well, I mean, they can at least get tumors, you know. and
Well,
he's a plant-human hybrid, so
yeah. Extra tumor for you.
yeah.
But we get Darshan and all the other sporelings come out and try and fight off
It
Grimy.
comes out that the sporelings called Darshan while Ivy wasn't looking with her phone.
Yeah.
And he sprung them from plant jail somehow.
I'm
And they're
sure
here
he
to
would
help Poison Ivy fight.
Yeah. But their powers don't work on him. They try. Like, I'm like, honestly, I don't know what you expected trying to turn somebody who's already half plant into wood. Like,
Well, it's like solid wood, like.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like they just like kind of just brush it off, you know, even if it kind of worked, they just like chop off their hand and regrow it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, give them a break. They're 6 months old.
yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true. They're a little naive.
But yeah, Poison Ivy should be like, hey, let's try something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we get an exciting appearance of a character that we've all been introduced to. I mean, we've talked about on the show. But none other than Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
He
And
just rises out of one of her plant boxes.
Yeah. I've
Which
been
is-
here the whole time.
yeah. Do you remember when we were reading Constantine?
Yeah.
And that was the issue right after where Swamp Thing showed up in Constantine. We didn't read that issue. But I think he formed from like a cigarette or something.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah. No, yeah, he can basically come, like, appear anywhere that there's plant life.
Yeah. But yeah, he attacks Grimely with Darshan somehow on top of Grimely and makes Darshan like fall almost to his death. Oh wait, no, sorry. Grimely falls on top of him.
Grimely's huge monster body falls on Darshan.
Mhm.
But it's okay because Darshan is right where the giant hole that the Swamp Thing made in him.
Yeah.
So Darshan gets to crawl out of that hole.
I didn't even notice that. I thought he just like poked through.
He's just
extremely
soft.
lucky.
Yeah.
They're like, oh man, so it's Grimely all along. Why don't our powers work against him? And then Grimely gets up again. Because, of course, regenerative.
Yeah.
But then they hack and slash him.
Mm-hmm.
Thorn
we
does
get a
most
little
of the
poison
work.
ivy kind of thing, right? Where she's like, I've always preferred to fight alone. They're more resilient than I expected. Friends can be helpful.
Yeah.
So everybody fights against Grimly until they finally, flash and hack.
Mm-hmm. And then
Enough
dump him
of
in
him
the river.
off that I guess he just can't regenerate fast enough. I don't know.
Yeah. They dump him into the river. And they're like,
was that a good idea?
Right.
And they're like, oh well, we did it already.
Yeah. And then, basically Ivy is like, like you were saying, Chawienta, like, she's like, friends are important and stuff, and I have a family, and so she calls Harley, just to, like, make amends, but then realizes that, her sporlings are missing, and,
with Darshan's help, they've left to the bus station, and they're going somewhere to the south to change the world.
Right. Yeah, which that's another thing. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think you can set up an appropriate, like, romance with somebody that keeps, like, breaking your children out and, like, getting them to do things. Like,
I do agree with you, though, that I think they walked away from that on these, like, last few issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, never mind.
Yeah.
I appreciate, we mentioned it briefly, but I appreciate Swamp Thing's little thing of saying, you're connected to the two worlds, but and you may feel alone, but you're not alone. We're unique, but your sporlings are like you. I'm like you. We kind of have the same things to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For someone who's like, I don't know how human beings communicate. Like, it's just so beyond me. It's like, I don't need human beings. She's very quick to be like, oh, but I want somebody. I want my kids.
Well, it was a 6-month journey.
No, but it was like the reason why she had kids. She was like, I want people like me.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't want humans.
Yeah. Yeah, because, especially, like, she saw it as an intellectual curiosity. Like, she didn't really even consider the responsibilities of bringing, like, new conscious life into the world, Which,
that's dumb. Yeah. You need to think about that.
Well, yeah, but, that's who Poison Ivy is. That's the journey that she kind of goes on,
I see.
Yeah. Because, like, she realizes, like, she doesn't see herself even as, like, very human, and therefore doesn't see her children as very human. And then it's like, oh, wait, actually, these things are having, like, human emotions, and I guess I have to figure out how to work with that.
Yeah. Ew, emotions.
You're kind of right, though. She's a little moody.
Yeah.
Ivy. She's like, you cannot go out. I'm protecting you from the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that in this, Swamp Thing and Poison Ivy have a conversation by themselves right before Ivy goes to call Harley Quinn. And he tells them, you're lucky that the collective force was, like, kind to you, like, because they're not always kind to people like us. And she's like, are the sporlings in danger? And his answer to her is, ask yourself if they might be the danger. Like, if they might be the danger. And I'm like, interesting. That's an interesting setup.
Yeah. I looked it up. The sporlings have not come back yet.
I didn't expect that.
I don't expect that either.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, they wanted to do something more.
Yeah.
I suppose. You always got to end on a cliffhanger, right?
Yeah.
Or you do a mini-series, you go, but there could be more.
Yeah, I just need fan support.
Yeah. I think that's fine. I feel like this was maybe too big of a cliffhanger where it's like, well, I'm definitely going to pick this up. You know, the next time I write like any DC comic book, I'll just like shove them in there.
Oh, yeah.
You know? It's like, nah, it's been like 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Have not appeared.
I think the Sporlings are an interesting idea. They really I don't know, they ran with it so quickly and they gloss over so many things that are potentially interesting. I don't know. They're very underdeveloped and kind of generic.
Yeah.
It feels like Madam Web to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
The movie.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
The classic movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Also, okay, yeah, because they're so underdeveloped, I can't say one way or the other about this, but I'm like, I wonder if what they were going for was the Sporlings matching the birds of prey.
Oh.
So
No, I think they were just like, well, we have to have 3.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I could see like Rose being like more like Harley Quinn, and then Hazel being more like Catwoman, and then Thorn being more like Poison Ivy. Ironic as it is that Thorn is like the least, like more adopted, you know? But yeah, I don't know. At the same time, that could just be me throwing on an
generic 3 people. We gotta have some sort of personality for the trio.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a little bit. I can see what you're saying, though. That's interesting to think about.
Yeah. If like, I don't know. Yeah. Honestly, like I kind of wish it would have been pretty subversive even for 2016 and like, you know, superhero comics. But I'm like, how were these babies really made? You know, like, did Poison Ivy produce pollen? Is there actually a bit of her in this plant, or
oh my God.
Is it all just CRISPR stuff, you know?
Just plants.
Yeah.
You know, with the same plants who sometimes pollinate themselves.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because something we didn't mention was that what Dr. Grimley was after by coming after the Sporlings is their embryonic fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that just juice?
I don't know.
I think that's fruit juice.
No. I don't know what it is exactly, but I know it's not that.
They're just like a human thing, but put the word plant on the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, it's like embryo.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, humans do have embryonic fluid. Plants do not. Generally, but these ones
just go with it.
Would. Yeah. Yeah. It's very much just to go with it.
It's definitely a mini series. It does a lot somehow, but it's such choppy scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like the beginning had a lot of promise, but then I think issue 5 kind of made a detour.
I think it was like issue 2 or 3 where I was like, oh.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. They've like introduced a mystery, like her death. We'll try to figure it out. They kind of don't figure it out. They just keep going.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And yeah, I just like, even with the mystery intact, I guess, I just couldn't find a reason to really be personally invested at all.
Okay, so also, yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, we're never really feel the stakes, right?
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
Poison Ivy's like, I need my research. It's been stolen. It's somewhere around here. What's going to happen if she doesn't get her research?
Right.
Is she going to die? Are the Sporlings going to die? Is she not going to be able to make the Sporlings? No, she's doing fine. She's got the plants at home.
Yeah. I think it's just she doesn't, like, someone else could make them. And it's like, No.
But
only I get to.
You gotta show that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're just kind of left going, you gotta get it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh no, if these fall into the wrong hands, they'll do science.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then in terms of the mystery, you know, it's like, well, who's it gonna be? You know, who's the...
Is it gonna be the guy who's a creep and I kill in, like, issue 3? Is it the guy who's nice and it remains nice? Is it the evil bureaucratic man? Is it the evil old scientist man
Yeah, who dies?
who hates women?
Yeah, but yeah, even, like, I was kind of like, I don't know, it wasn't, like... It just kind of seemed a little obvious. Not that I knew it was Grimly for sure, but at the same time, like, you know, it was like...
We knew that he was involved and he's bad.
Yeah.
There was no gonna be like, oh, he's actually was trying to help you all along.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I really feel like they introduced Harley Quinn and they gave her a lot of time on screen and then they were like, bye.
Yeah.
Forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they're like, oh, Poison Ivy needs help, let's call in other named character, Catwoman. And then she can just go bye.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought they were gonna like bring in Harley and be like, you know, she calls Harley. Harley is like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't really want to help you. And she's like, look at my child. I have literal children. Please help me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, you know, for the kids, because they're so cute, I'll help you. But we're still kind of strained relationship. And then we find some way of mending it. No, just call her up 6 months later and go, hey, how you doing? Be like, oh, I never thought you'd call me.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Catwoman said that you had kids.
Yeah. Honestly,
Been mentioning that you've had kids.
I don't really... I could go either way with how Harley would respond. Like, I don't quite know if she would respond with, I don't want to talk to you. Like, the way that she did respond does make sense.
You get what I'm saying, though? Like,
but yeah.
Whatever characterization we want to do of her, I was just coming up with on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
They could have, like, brought her back in and
Yeah.
tried to heal this relationship in a visible, interesting way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do some team building exercises, group.
Right, yeah, it really went on the side of like, time heals all wounds. They'll just forget about it.
Yeah.
If only I just called you first instead
Yeah.
of waiting for you to call me, everything would be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it honestly, like, yeah, it could have been that easy in a way of, like, maybe Poison Ivy just needed to apologize, you know? And honestly, that probably matches Harley Quinn's overall characterization, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She just needs to hear, I'm sorry, and then it's pretty much patched up. But, like, at the same time, yeah, we didn't get any of that interaction, you know?
Yeah.
What did Poison Ivy have to give up to like win this fight?
Yeah.
Well, the actual calling, that's pretty, I don't know if it's giving up. But
Well,
it's
I meant more in like the broad scale of like
Oh.
winning the fight against Grimly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Should she give up her ego, I guess? I guess it's kind of that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Everybody
is.
just sort of joins in. She doesn't... I expected them to do a little bit of like, oh my gosh, I'm not winning this. I need to admit, I need your guys' help. I'll let you out of plant jail.
Yeah. I think, yeah, it was ultimately that realization that she needs help because, like, she keeps taking help, but then not appreciating that help, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
She's like,
But also, she never really felt up against the wall.
Yeah, I agree. It comes back to what you said. We couldn't really feel the stakes of it. It was just like, yeah, this'll be fine, really. Like, yeah, the biggest stakes I think was Grimly getting a hole punched in him and then him coming back. It was like, oh, the little thrill.
And then he grabs like one of the sporlings, and you're like, oh my gosh, the sporlings are in specific danger.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, what I had to think about that scene when he came back was like that last moment when you like think the bad guy is down.
Mm-hmm.
And then he like gets
every
up.
single horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he like gets up and then you're like, oh, do a quick, kick to his face or something like that. And he goes out for the count.
Oh.
Yeah, like
Oh yeah.
it was that kind of quick.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was pretty fast.
Mhm.
I don't really understand how they defeated him in the end. Was it the power of friendship?
It was the power of the machete.
Yeah,
Well, that's the thing. Did they realize, like, oh, we just have to cut off more of him? Or
yeah, so much that he can't regrow, I guess.
But that's another thing where I'm like, you guys love telegraphing this stuff. Just tell me.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the caption box says, but sometimes we need the anger and rage from our past on our side. And that's when she starts hacking and slashing. So I guess they defeat him with rage.
Yeah.
Violence is always the answer, is what we learned. If you don't have enough violence in your heart, get more people.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and also like they're crying as they're doing this, which
That was like, they had one panel of one character crying, and I was like, I guess I understand what they're going at.
I can agree with Thorn crying because this guy actually like abused her and
did experiments.
tested on her. Yeah, but then the others, that doesn't make sense.
Well, like so I can think of like, oh, they were feeling it through the green.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I think it'd been so interesting if Poison Ivy's like, I don't want to kill him because he's part of the green now. He's like me. He's like us.
Oh
I
yeah,
can
that would
feel it when I hurt him.
Yeah,
but then she's like, I have to. Sometimes you have to cut off the bad parts or something. Some weird plant analogy we can make.
Yeah, that's fair.
That would
have been so interesting.
That would have been good.
Yeah. For a Poison Ivy miniseries, getting her own standalone, they kind of underutilize Poison Ivy in her own story.
Yeah.
She kind of does plant things and cares about plants vaguely.
Mm-hmm.
Hand wave.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate, like, the first time I read it, I didn't really get the whole thing of her feeling alone and not connecting with humans.
Mm.
And once we went over it, I kind of was like, oh, okay, I can see the little glimmer there of what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but overall, not a great first outing. Earlier in the episode, I did mention, like, critical reception. And, like, basically it got, like, good writing reception. It was just, like, the art, like, the overly sexualized art that, like, kind of got the most, like, dings, I guess.
Like you personally, or
no, for, like, in terms of, like, what, like, comic book reviewers.
Oh,
audience reception.
Yeah.
I mean, the art in general is kind of inconsistent, weirdly paced and stuttery.
Yeah.
In places. It looks a little weird sometimes, even.
Yeah.
I
see. To
sometimes
me,
the art's good, and sometimes it's really not good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that issues 1 through 3 are really good. Like, and I guess how I would describe it is like, the inking's really good, and there's a lot of clean lines. But then when you get to issue 4 and 5, it's like it becomes a lot more messy in terms of penciling and
it's just like disjointed. Like she makes some really weird stunted faces sometimes. There's weird angles. It looks like they really finished it quickly.
Yeah.
And then issue 6, I think, is like, actually, I noticed it the most. I was like, this is really weird. She's making weird faces.
Issue 6?
Yeah, like the fight scene and stuff where she's like, let her go. And she's like got this weird yelling face.
Yeah. I will say there was a panel on issue 4 that kind of took me out of it because like you're reading it and you see Pam looking normal. And then right when she looks at there's scorch marks here. Like she's being someone's communicating to her through the green, and in that panel she looks like a completely different person. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, I think the inconsistency really got to me. Like, if you're gonna be clean lines and, simple forms, stick with that. Not that I'm saying this had simple forms. It is a very standard comic book style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, okay, well, we will say, like you were saying, Cody, I agree with the general audience reception of put on some more clothes, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I mostly felt that about the Sporlings. They're 6 months old, they're supposed to be teenagers. I don't really get a sense of them being teens with their own style. I don't know. I'm probably asking for too much there. They've been stuck inside for 6 months. They don't know what style is.
Oh, yeah.
But also that would be kind of fun, right? Like, they're wearing, like, really unfashionable stuff.
yeah.
Each in their own kind of way.
That would be... I did notice there's like, oh, wow. Like, you just...
They just want to wear leotards everywhere.
Yeah. Or even the fact that it was like, they have never left the house before, but... they happen to have these like color coordinating outfits that like, you know, match their skin tones.
Well, but then also they understand what a normal teenager should be.
Yeah,
like,
or what they would wear.
They have these conceptions of like the club, which I'm assuming they've like watched movies or something. That would have been a cute scene. Like we get a sense of where they're getting their info from and how stunted is making them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think Poison Ivy puts her kids in front of an iPad?
No.
She lets them play in the dirt.
Yeah.
And eat rocks.
Mm-hmm. Which again, like, yeah, it does feel like, where are they getting all this information? Like, I feel like actually information has to come from one source, and that's Darshan, yeah.
Bringing them magazines.
Yeah. I do, like, I was going to say this before, but there's, when Poison Ivy in issue 5 is like, go away, girls. Like, I need to figure something out or something like that. She's talking to Darshan, and Darshan is like, you know, you don't have to treat them like children, you know, like, they are like teenagers. And I'm like, no, they're 6 months old. Just shut up, Darshan.
That's the thing, though. They have different lifespans. But yeah, also it's impossible for them to know like anything.
Yeah.
Have any life experience. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. It really does bother me that they are just in the ether as far as like continuity and stuff. Yeah. It's like, you'll appear someday, maybe. But also,
I think they could do some fun stuff with them and Poison Ivy. But they really were just like, we're going to have our own series. Walks off of stage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want it to be, we don't like you anymore. You're like our absentee mother.
Yeah. I don't know. That would have
been a sad ending.
Yeah. Yeah, true. If I was going to write them into something, I would actually flash forward like 2,000 years and be all like, they're old ladies now.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh my God. No,
I like that.
You don't even have to do 2,000 years because they age so quickly, right?
Right. But I mean, that's the thing. Maybe like they grow super fast, but then...
Oh, like a plant, they mature quickly and then just kind of stick it out.
Because they're related to the plant that they found in the desert that was 2,000 years old.
So you're saying that we need to have a Sandman crossover.
Yeah, it could be that. It could be a time traveler like Rip Hunter or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about the Books of Magic.
Yeah.
Give me that.
I like that idea.
I love the idea of them being like old ladies and like, developing their own. Man, that makes me curious what they would go out and do. Would they create their own community?
Yeah, they could.
Many more interesting things than this comic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we gave Poison Ivy a try. It fits in with our theme of plants.
Yes.
Because I was curious about how ecology and plants are going to be shown in comics.
Mm-hmm.
This didn't care. It was like science.
Yeah.
It mentioned CRISPR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I will say the same time, like, I don't know. I've never read the G. Willow Wilson 2022 run of Poison Ivy, but like this one at least sets her in an actual lab, you know, and like caring about science. It's not like she's not just like a vigilante with plant powers. So in that way, it does, like, you know, it's a good pick for the theme.
Start your black market plant business, Ivy.
Yeah.
Nah, she wouldn't sell to humans.
Yeah, I guess if
She's just buying. All she's doing is buying.
Yeah. Buying. Yeah. I guess she could give them away, but it might feel, to sell them might feel like selling a person.
You're right. There's a good attempt at grounding with Poison Ivy in this.
Grounding.
I suppose.
That one will get a laugh out of me, I guess.
I'm good with that.
Anyway, though, yeah. I'm not sure if I have many other thoughts about this book.
I will say, like, I think it is a good enough read to like try and read all at once. Like it's pretty alright.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was starting to say a little earlier, was that it was just like I kept, even though I knew that I was reading it this morning and I was like, I need to finish this, and then I was like, but I just want to put it down. I really feel like that comes in a lot to like the panel layout, you know, like it just felt like things were like really cramped. Like there was not a lot of like flow through the pages.
That's why I called the art like choppy, like the layouts and stuff.
Yeah.
Every scene is just like, just for the purpose of getting to the next scene. We just gotta show them doing the thing and then the thing so we can get to the next thing. There's no flow.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder, like, I've started to think more about, like, you know, the way that the comic books get constructed, you know, and, like, especially, you know, with Big Two stuff. And I'm like, I want to see this script. Like, how much, like, artistic freedom was there? Or was it very, like, you know, this panel, this thing, you know, like, yeah. And especially if they were like I was saying earlier, like really set on getting deadlines out, it's like, okay, no redraws, just go. But yeah, it does come out just kind of, yeah, like you said, choppy and doesn't work for me.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I think the art really held back what the story might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clay Mann and Seth Mann, though. They're very, very good. Very good duo.
Yeah. You know, you were saying, like, issue 4, like, I agree that, like, you know, I think I found the spot that you were talking about where it was, like, different art styles and stuff. Or just in general, Poison Ivy looked different. But I think I kind of like that style a little bit more overall. But honestly, that's just preference, I think, you know? The Clay Mann and Seth Mann one just kind of looked a little bit like overdone, you know, overly stylized in a way, I guess. Okay. Like, but not, I guess stylized almost implies like extra like embellishment. And it's like, it's more like it was like in the, I saw in a particular review, somebody was complimenting their attention to detail. And I'm like, it's almost too detailed to me.
Stiff.
Yeah, stiff.
So we were talking before the show, and that was the word I was trying to think of, stylized.
Yes, I actually, when I said that came out of my mouth, I was like, I wonder if that's what Tailon was trying to think of.
But you shared with us a post about different artists, and it was Michael Fife or Nickel, maybe?
No, Michael. Yeah.
Michael. Okay. And so realistic, he defines is less about photo reference and more about naturalism on display. And like, to me, what that means is like things looking natural. trying to make it look like that on art.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm like, okay, I like that definition way better. And so that's how, going forward, I'm going to try to remember, that's what I prefer.
Yeah.
It's like, this thing looks natural.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a difference between making your characters look like the front of a People magazine.
Right.
And something that feels, living, breathing.
Yeah. Totally.
Mm.
Yeah. I get that. And I'd almost say, like, yeah, I guess I'd really have to study the different people's art, but I almost feel like that's, like, to go back, the beginning issues feel a little unnatural to me.
Mm. Gotcha.
But, I don't know. It wasn't, like, so bad either. It's just, when put next to each other, I'm like, I think that one I like a little bit more than the other.
That's fair.
But yeah. Is there anything else that you guys had? All right. Yeah, so this has been our coverage of Poison Ivy, Cycles of Life and Death.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our third installment of our Ecology in Comics theme.
I like that. I think that's the first time we've used that. That's pretty good.
I think
ecology is less of plants. It's like the study of everything's relation to each other.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Plants are part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we said that one other time. We've also said botany, I think, which is more plant specific.
Yeah. So wait, you said, what was ecology in comics?
Yeah.
Botany in comics? I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Botany in comics.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got plant people in our stories. We did Man Thing, we did Swamp Thing. We got Poison Ivy.
Yep.
Who knows?
There's no more. We ran out.
Honestly.
We'll just have to scrape the bottom of the barrel. They're out there.
I was tempted to choose what supposedly is like what Swamp Thing and Man Thing are based off of, the Heap.
Oh.
Which was like from the 50s or something like that. Maybe before that.
Huh.
But it was like black and white, and I was like, oh gosh.
Oh gosh, who makes their comics in black and white anymore?
It's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I didn't give it a chance, but I was like, yeah.
Yeah. 50s comics can be good, for sure. I mean, that's what they call it the golden age.
Don't you remember the beginning of Man Thing?
Yeah.
That comic was pretty good. I mean, that wasn't 50s, but
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's an older comic.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah. But also, yeah, with the name like the Heap. Like, whoa. I had no idea that they were influenced by something.
That's just what the internet said. I don't know if I believe it.
Hey, it could be though. Yeah. There's other characters out there, or we could just read another Poison Ivy or Swamp Thing thing.
Yeah.
Could read their the Swamp Thing that also has Poison Ivy in it.
Yeah.
Potentially. We'll see. Yeah, but until then, I'm Cody.
I'm Tailon.
And I'm Chawienta.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.